The Sunday service, which takes place, if you'd like to go along to it, is at 11 o'clock, and that's next to the model tent, outside of the big Gavioli organ that's there, outside of the model tent, in the Adderbury field. Sorry, that's in the Bloxham field. So we'll get ourselves together. Right now, the commercial vehicle parade's kicking off here in the arena here. This is the first arena event of the day, and things will be happening here for most of the day. And the first vehicle into the arena is a very nice little comma in working condition. Now, these forward control commas are very, very unusual. In fact, any comma from around this era is unusual. They weren't the top-notch commercial vehicles built. They were a good, sturdy, reliable vehicle, and to find one of this particular age in this particular condition is absolutely amazing, because this is an original working condition comma, and it really looks wonderful. It's a little forward control comma here. I'm just listening for it as it comes up now. Is that the petrol engine? Yes, that's the petrol engine there. So that would probably be the Humber Hawk engine. It dates from 1946 and it's powered there by a lovely little flathead side valve engine. Fantastic. It may be the Snipe engine, but I would suggest it's the 14 horse Hawk engine in that one. A very, very nice example indeed of a comma in its working clothes. Just the way a vehicle would have looked at the period. As indeed is the next vehicle there on its way round. You'll see it. It's got a written sheet over there, Hunt Edmunds Brewery, and that's been restored in the local brewery livery, with a false load of crates and barrels on board, just the way it would have been when delivering around the showgrounds. Now, you've probably heard of comma before, but quite a few people won't have heard of Vulcan. And this, once again, this is a totally restored vehicle, but another completely remarkable survivor. It's a little bit newer. It's 2 years newer than the comma that you've seen going round. The comma was a 46, this one's a 48, so she's 70 years old this year. And it's beautifully restored, and the Vulcan was never ever designed to be a long-lasting commercial vehicle. They were a more cheaply produced vehicle using a Perkins V6 diesel and more or less proprietary parts. And that's the Vulcan there, beautiful vehicle again. And then just gone past us now, the Dodge, little Dodge there, very much, if you remember the film The Hell Drivers, this is one of those, exactly the same chassis that the tippers on the Hell Drivers would have been using. Remember that marvellous old black and white film about how it used to be a tipper driver on load rates. It was really a cutthroat job. Now approaching us, and we have a fire appliance. So this one's an AEC, built here, a British built vehicle. Very, very, very long heritage of quality vehicle production, and AEC were the brains behind the London buses, actually. But this was, as you can see, an extending ladder escape. These were superseded in more recent times as the buildings got taller by the snorkel escape units, by the hydraulic escape units that they use today. And it's a turntable escape. Frequently the equipment on the back would be older than what the vehicle is, and this vehicle itself, because the equipment was updated and put on the replacement vehicles as the vehicles were replaced. So it's a very nice example of the AEC. Now the Bedford going past the commentary point, green Bedford drop side there. This is the J series Bedford. And it's so nice, if you look at it as it goes by, you can see it's still got the original rear lights. Just about semicircle rear lights, tiny little backlights, so this is quite normal for the period. And if you look at the wing mirrors on the 7, the green and red 7, which is passing us at the moment, you will see that if you look at the wing mirrors on that, they are once again very, very small in comparison with the modern wing mirrors on the modern trucks. And these were the mirrors that people were driving with in those days. You'll also notice that a lot of the vehicles are carrying a speed restriction sign on the back, because that they'd either be restricted to 20 or 30 miles an hour when they were produced and in service. Back in the and that's a pre-war cab design on that set, beautiful coach-built cab. Now if we're looking at cabs with a special difference, well here's the owner-driver vehicle. Back in the 1970s, the owner-driver boom really came into this country, and here we have a vehicle from that period with it's not a Continental vehicle, it's the British ERF. Beautifully airbrush artwork on the side, just the way it would have been when operated by an owner-driver there back in the 1970s. Now, a little bonneted vehicle with the open windscreen and the crates on the back that's making its way past the commentary point now, and this is the 3000 weight, that's a 1.5 ton carrying capacity, Bedford K series from round about 1951. The Land Rover now, making an early start this morning. He had a late night last night, poor old chap, but he's out and about this morning. And this takes us into the history of the Land Rovers here, the Series 3 that's following it. And Land Rovers, of course, did not exist at the end of the Second World War. They're really a post-war revolutionary vehicle that saved the Rover Car Company. Now, a little vehicle that was actually came into production just before the war, but most of the vehicles are post-war survivors, and this is the E83W but from Ford, and that's the little blue drop-side pickup with the White Horse Brewery signage on the side. Just gone past the fire engine, but you may think, well, it's another Dennis. It's not a Dennis, it's a Morris commercial. And this is a Morris commercial built especially and used by the Morris Motor Works here in Oxford. Back again to ERF now, and that's one of the later British vehicles again. ERF, of course, was sold out eventually to MAN, but this is a British ERF. Built up at Sandbach up in Cheshire. And now the Atkinson. And I think this is probably the only Atkinson we've got here this weekend, but I stand to be corrected because I never know what's going to drive past us here. But that's the Atkinson, but it's a six-wheeler. And it's the Atkinson Arctic unit which has had such a hard working life on the showgrounds at the end of its career with the wall of death, the very heavy loads it was hauling. And now, not a Bedford, not an Austin, but this is a Morris commercial just gone past me again. Now, little Morris commercial flatbed with about somewhere between the 2 and a 3 ton payload carrying capacity. Now Scania comes up. And Scania and Volvo were the two vehicles, along with Mercedes, that really hit the British market during the 1970s. From the end of the 60s into the 70s, the Continental commercial vehicle producers made inroads here. Here's quite an unusual little example of the Volvo now going past us. We see plenty of the slightly larger ones, but here's one that's not as heavy, but a very nice little Arctic tractor here going past us now. From the Volvo from the mid-70s. Now written up exactly as it would have been for its period, and we have the six-wheel Arctic tractor. That's an articulated tractor. I keep using these abbreviations. Arctic twice as an Arctic is a tractor for articulated trailers. And now back to pre-war cab styling again, very much so. This is an ERF. ERFs didn't start production until the 1930s, and this is something very, very reminiscent of the very early production designs of the ERF. That's the vehicle with the tractor on the back. Now right in front of us, a very unusual little vehicle, because this is really American design, and it's the British Ford Thames, but it's the E88W, which puts us back into the late 30s, early 50s period, of vehicles that you may have seen being operated here in the UK. Staying with Ford now, because after the E83W, that's the little blue one which is in the front line there, just going past now with this little green one in front of me. The little green pickup truck is drop side truck there, is the 400E, which is the post-war 3/4 ton carrying capacity drop side truck. Now the Bedford, one of our regular, absolutely beautifully restored, with this once again a vehicle with a nice false load on. The 1950s Bedford here, from the stable of one of our local enthusiasts. His son brought it out again today for us. It's great to see this vehicle here. And the Dennis, another regular exhibitor. I normally catch up with this one a couple of times every year at different shows. If you look at the Dennis, this takes us back to the 1920s era of production, because the spare wheel, in fact, is still solid tired, and this vehicle would have been a solid tired vehicle when it was first produced, having been converted to pneumatics back in about 1930. And now just going past me once again, helping to celebrate 50 years. It's a vehicle which is a regular here at Bloxham. It's the Foden timber tractor. And Fodens would make tractors for any purpose. And tractors don't mean agricultural tractors, they mean haulage vehicles. And there's a very fine example of a Foden timber tractor, industrial heavy haulage tractor there, going past me. And going past now, the little boxy vehicle, is the post office telephones van. Another example of the 1950s Morris commercial. But the Morris commercial bit really finishes at the radiator grille, because the rest of it is duple coach works specially designed for the post office. And now you'll see a rather careworn container stuck on the back, but this is absolutely right, because here we have probably one of the larger flatbed single axle lorries that were produced around this time in the mid-70s, and you can see it's carrying a container which is held down by chains, and this once again is real period loading. This is exactly the way shipping containers came, on a crane, put onto a flatbed and chained down. Any heavy items of load were chained down. They weren't strapped down the way they are today with those awful load straps. They were chained down with chain ratchets. And now Scania and Volvo back with us again now as they're making their way past the commentary point. This is the pointers of the day. We're getting a little bit nearer to our present history. The Volvo going past me now, we've seen them right the way up from some of the earlier ones, and going past me the cement company there in the bright orange, and this one's a British Foden, one of the later Fodens, before Fodens too also became the victims of foreign competition and were finally sold on to an American company. Splendid example now again, the Swedish Dream. Well, yes, it's in Swedish national colours, most certainly. Beautiful blue and yellow, and you'll see it's even got its own Viking sitting on the back of it. Very much owner-operator type livery on this vehicle. The Volvo F12. There's a milestone in its own right. As indeed is the Ford D series, once again from the 1970s. And that's the bright yellow and blue tipper which is going past me. And it's the... I don't know where they get their passengers from in these lorries. I think he just must have picked him up to stop him paying at the gate. Seen him before. I mean, remarkable example there of the Ford D series, beautifully presented. Now, Volvos didn't just make lorries, they made all sorts of machinery, and they have rapidly become part of the British scenery. And here we have a timber tractor again, but this one is designed for, as you can see, not only timber winching but timber handling for round timber with that lovely timber grab on the front. Now the example here, it's the Scamel just gone past, and the Scamel has its own Scamel winch there that runs the PTO, and the winch fair leads on the back. The winch cable comes straight out through the back on the Scamel, and it's very much a Pickford's design body on this one. It's very much Pickford's specification for this particular Scamel motive unit. The Scamel MU from the early 19th, right through, not quite the early 1950s, but the mid to late 1950s, very, very early 1960s, this particular Scamel MU. A fugal truck. It didn't use a lot of diesel, but it would work terribly, terribly hard with that wonderful old Scamel 6-speed gearbox, which was quite an experience to drive until you got used to it. And now the little Foden 4325 going past me. Quite an unusual vehicle once again. Didn't see so many of these in operation, and certainly hardly any seem to have survived into preservation. Now, we talked a bit about the Perkins diesel engines a bit earlier on. Well, Gardner was the other great British diesel engine producer. And we can see here on the ERF, which is going past us now in Maynard's livery, once again, wonderfully presented. The ERF there is Gardner powered, and those Gardner engines are the same engine as actually was in that Scamel that went past just now. Very, very economic to run. Beautifully easy to maintain and repair. Series 1 Land Rover now, just gone past us. Now here we have the little Bedford Rascal. And you might not take this seriously as a commercial vehicle, but believe me, it is. It's probably the smallest powered wheelbarrow we've got here today, but it's a marvellous little example of Bedford as they were actually in cahoots with the Japanese at this particular time to produce this very nice little lightweight, reliable commercial vehicle. Now, public service vehicle, and here we have, dating from 1968 in the livery of the red and white, this marvellous coach for long distance travel in comfort. Now, here's a vehicle built for a specific purpose, and it would have been so comfortable for that bloodstock that they would have been carrying in the back. International Horse Transport Firm, actually, you've got to have money to actually have one of these vehicles when it's new, because they are exceptionally expensive, because you look at the design and everything that's tucked away on there for the comfort of the animals that it's travelling. Oh, very nicely presented there. The 6-wheel rigid, it's not an Arctic, look, it's a rigid with that extra weight carrying axle on the back that comes into operation as soon as you load it up with heavy horses. Now, Mr. Aylward from Andover, another one of our regular exhibitors, but his ERF that brings exhibits down onto the showground, because Mr. Aylward, he exhibits just about everything that you can put into his show. Brings along motor cars and tractors, and I believe motorcycles as well, if I remember right. And it's great to see him actually using period transport as well. Now there's something a little bit different here, because we've got quite a subsection really of American trucks that we've got along this weekend. Always surprising for me. I never know what I'm going to see when it comes past the commentary point. And there's the more recent Freightliner. Very, very smart standard cab designs you can see. Now here we have the cab over. The cab over from Kenilworth. And the cab over, or as we would say in this country, the forward control, is a design which is not exactly in production anymore now, because they were very, very typical American. But they've fallen out of favour in the States, because the stateside transport boys, they do love their bonneted controlled vehicles. And look at this Peterbilt now coming up towards us. Well, there's something about a vehicle with a bonnet out the front, it's business-like. But of course, in America, when you look at the size of this, you haven't only got the driver's cab, you've got the driver's living accommodation on the back, because the lorry driver stateside is hauling goods right across the continent. from one state to another, and there's no telling when he's going to be home, so he takes his living accommodation with him. Hence these great big lumps behind the cab, they're the living accommodation, that's the driver's living pod up in the back. And look at the length of the vehicle, it's about the same length as the average flatbed you find running around the countryside in this country, the average rigid lorry. Well, they've got plenty of room to turn round over there in America, which we don't have here. And they don't have so many of the beautiful little British old country lanes. You imagine finding one of these coming towards you on the back lanes round Oxfordshire. They weren't designed for that, but they're very much designed for interstate haulage. And there's you see one example of the cab over design. And now the Volvo F88 going past me. This is really the vehicle that was the key to the success of the Volvo's total success here in the UK. Now, we started the parade with a comma, and it looks as if this might be the last vehicle coming around. Once again, authentic working condition is a cattle float, and it's again a comma. And by the sounds of that, I think that's the two-stroke comma engine. I don't get all the sounds that I'd like in the commentary box, but it's just as well because I don't get the dust in here either. That's for you folks out there. And the two-stroke comma engine was a real innovation in its time. A lot of people said it would never work, but it was one of the most effective diesels that have ever been produced. And it did a lot for comma's reputation here in the UK. So from start, it's great. We've seen commas there from the 1946, if I remember right, the very first little comma. That's the little green lorry right on the end next to the Vulcan, and the from my side at the right-hand edge of the front row, and the final vehicle there, just coming into line down at the back, is the comma from the 1960s, and or late 50s even, that particular cab design. But there's that wonderful engine there from the 1960s.